on a quiet street at the edge of the city, where the lights flickered more than they shined and the nights felt longer than they should. A small dog sat by the roadside, his eyes fixed on a place that meant nothing to anyone else, but everything to him. He wasn't just sitting there, he was waiting. Not for food, not for shelter, but for someone. Just a week ago, his world was completely different. He had a home filled with warmth, where the mornings began with soft footsteps and gentle hands scratching behind his ears, where laughter echoed through the walls and every corner smelled like comfort. He wasn't just a pet, he was family. Every time the door opened, his tail would wag uncontrollably, his small body filled with excitement because to him that door meant love always came back. But one day it didn't. That afternoon he was brought to this very road. He still remembered how normal it felt at first, thinking it was just another walk, another moment to explore the outside world. But then the footsteps started walking away, slower at first, then faster until they were gone. He waited, confused but hopeful, convinced they would return any second. Minutes turned into hours, hours turned into a full night, and still he stayed. The first night was the hardest. The sounds were unfamiliar, the darkness heavier than anything he had ever known. Every passing car made him lift his head with sudden hope, his eyes shining for a brief second, only to dim again as it drove past without stopping. But he didn't move because in his heart, leaving that spot meant missing the moment they came back. The second day brought hunger, a deep, aching hunger that twisted inside him, but even then he refused to wander far. He searched only a few steps away, always keeping his eyes locked on that same point on the road, afraid that if he looked away for too long, he would miss them. People passed by. Some glanced at him, some didn't even notice. To them, he was just another stray, just another forgotten life blending into the background of a busy world. But none of them saw what was really there: the loyalty, the hope, the silent promise he had made without even understanding it to never leave. Days went by and the weather turned colder. Rain began to fall, slowly at first, then endlessly, soaking his thin fur until his small body trembled uncontrollably. Still, he didn't move. His strength was fading, his body growing weaker with each passing hour, but something inside him refused to break. Because love like his doesn't understand being left behind. By the fourth night, even lifting his head became difficult. The world around him blurred, the sounds became distant, and the hope that once burned so brightly in his eyes began to flicker. For the first time, he lowered himself completely onto the wet ground, too tired to sit, too weak to wait the way he used to. And yet, he was still waiting. It was late when a car appeared at the far end of the road. Its headlights cut through the darkness, slowly approaching until it began to slow down near him. The engine softened, and for a moment everything felt still again. The door opened. Footsteps stepped out into the rain. But this time, they didn't walk past him. They stopped. The person stood there for a second, just looking at him, not with pity, not with indifference, but with something rare, something real. Then slowly they walked closer and knelt down beside him. The dog barely moved. He had seen people before, had watched them come and go without stopping, and maybe a part of him had already accepted that this would be no different. But as the stranger gently reached out, their hands soft and careful, something changed. There was no rush, no force, just patience. And for the first time in days, the dog didn't feel alone. With trembling effort, he lifted his head slightly, his tired eyes meeting theirs, searching not for answers, but for a feeling he almost forgot. And somehow in that quiet moment he found it. The stranger didn't turn away. Instead, they carefully wrapped him in a warm blanket, lifting his weak body as if it truly mattered, as if he truly mattered. And as they carried him toward the car, something unexpected happened. He didn't look back at the road, not even once. Because deep inside, beyond the pain, beyond the waiting, he understood something his heart had been trying to tell him all along. Sometimes, the ones we wait for never come back. But sometimes, the ones who truly matter are the ones who choose to stop. Days later, in a quiet shelter filled with warmth and care, the same small dog lay on a soft blanket, his body slowly healing, his strength returning bit by bit. At first, he was still, cautious, unsure, as if part of him was still sitting on that cold roadside. But then one morning, as the same person walked into the room, something changed. His tail moved, just a little at first, then more. And in that simple moment, something beautiful happened. He wasn't waiting anymore. He was finally home.